Now Sir Keir Starmer has attempted to apologise for believing Peter Mandelson and appointing him, saying he was misled about the true nature of Mandelson's relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
GB News has spoken to Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch. Have a listen to what she had to say.
Kemi Badenoch, a huge moment in Parliament yesterday when you seemed to force an admission from the Prime Minister that he knew that Mandelson had continued his relationship with Epstein even after he'd been convicted. But today, he's saying that he's clarifying that, and he simply means that he knew that they'd known each other, and that, in fact, that he believed that Mandelson had barely known him. What's going on here?
This is complete nonsense, and everybody knows it. I asked him a very specific question yesterday about whether or not the information about the continued relationship was in the security vetting, and he said yes. This stuff was on Google for people who were looking. So for him to pretend that he didn't know, when the FT said to him directly in 2024, long before the appointment, that Mandelson continued this relationship, it's just not true. And I'm shocked that he's playing the victim now, saying, oh, I'm just like you guys, I was lied to by Peter Mandelson, I didn't know. The fact is, he should be apologising for appointing that man despite the security advice and vetting information which he saw. That's what people want to see. But he is so self-righteous, he cannot bring himself to do that.
Well, he has apologised this morning to Epstein's victims for making that appointment. Was enough thought given to them, though, at the time? I mean, what message does it send to them that Mandelson was appointed? And this is a Prime Minister that has pledged to halve violence against women and girls.
They didn't care. Let's be honest, they didn't care, and all these pledges.
They didn't care about the victims?
No, I don't think they cared how it would look. I don't think they were even thinking about it. I think a lot of these pronouncements about violence against women and girls are lip service. Let's remember, this is a man who couldn't define what a woman was not that long ago. This is a man who was saying no to a national inquiry on the rape gangs. This is something that we see again and again. It's very easy to publish strategies and consultations about violence against women and girls, but it's what you do in the moment when you have a decision in your hands. It's how you behave. That's the thing that makes the difference.
You've said that somebody needs to go. It's clear that the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, pushed this appointment. Sue Gray hadn't wanted it. She would have been quite happy for Karen Pierce to stay on. If Morgan McSweeney goes, is that going to be sufficient, do you think, to save the Prime Minister's skin going forward after May?
Well, it depends on exactly what we see in these files. I do think someone needs to take responsibility. Someone needs to go. But I'm not interested in the Prime Minister's job security. What I'm interested in is what's happening in our country. And what I was saying today earlier in my speech is that Britain is not being governed. Nothing is happening. Despite their huge majority, they're not doing anything. We have a plan. They could work with us on a plan. How do we make energy costs lower? We've got a plan for that. We've got a plan to save the high street, abolishing business rates. Let's get rid of stamp duty, get the housing market moving. Let's leave the ECHR. Borders need to be controlled, public order. There's so much that could be happening. Nothing's happening. And all we're talking about is, should Keir Starmer stay in his job, or what's happening on May the 7th, and who's going to win and have more councillors. The country is not being governed, and I'm worried about that.
There's nothing more important than keeping you and your loved ones safe online. With so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. And with their Valentine's Day sale, this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GB News viewers. It's the easiest way to stay safe online, protect your money, and save big for less than £2 a month. Click the link in the video's description or scan the QR code today.
You are inviting, though, Labour MPs to have a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister, potentially change leader. The Tories did that. Is that really your advice? Because isn't it a case of be careful what you wish for? That could go very badly wrong, could it not?
Well, I know that Keir Starmer being there is already going very badly wrong. And when we felt there was an issue with the leader in the country wasn't being governed, we made a change. People may agree or disagree with what that change was or how it was done. But I don't think we should just sit back and say, well, no, there's nothing we can do. Let's just allow Keir Starmer to do whatever he likes. What we do know is that Labour MPs aren't going to vote for a general election because most of them will lose their seats. We're stuck with Labour until 2029. They should be thinking, how can we do better? And what I'm saying to them is, this can be better. If you think that there's something that we can do to help, come to our whip's office, let's have a conversation.
And just finally, Donald Tusk has talked about the possibility that Epstein could have been working for Russia. We heard that from Sir Ed Davey, the Lib Dem leader in the Commons yesterday. How seriously do you take that possibility?
I think it's very possible. It needs to be proven, of course, but there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that certainly points to that. The nature of the photos being taken, it looking like compromat. Lots of people are having these discussions. So I think it is very possible, and that's why this needs to be looked at thoroughly. There are hearings taking place in the US. Our police are now conducting a criminal investigation specifically into Peter Mandelson, not Jeffrey Epstein. I think that we should look at every single possibility to make sure that justice is done.
And just finally, do you think that Peter Mandelson could be heading to jail?
I don't want to say anything that could prejudice that case. I'm glad the police have opened an investigation, and if there is evidence and he's prosecuted, let's see where that goes. But right now, I think that Peter Mandelson will be dealt with appropriately. What I'm concerned about is that the Prime Minister who appointed him, a catastrophic error of judgment, is now pretending that he was just lied to and he didn't know. He's making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision that is impacting people out there, your viewers, our families and friends. Our country is not being governed.
Kemi Badenoch, thank you very much for talking to us on GB News. Thank you.
Very, very strong words from Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch there, talking to our chief political correspondent, Catherine Forster. Catherine joins us now. Catherine, I think they were very, very strong and seemingly heartfelt words from Kemi there.
Yes, there really were, and she's not pulling any punches. Bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. She says that the Prime Minister's made and that effectively Britain is not being governed because they are so busy working out how to deal with the latest crisis. And, of course, we've had several of them, this, of course, being the most significant. She was absolutely excoriating about the Prime Minister and the fact that today he has, in inverted commas, clarified what was said yesterday and is effectively just saying that he believed that the lies he was told, that Mandelson barely knew Jeffrey Epstein, despite tons of evidence that he knew him very well and had continued that relationship after he'd been freed from jail, that were publicly available and, in fact, that we know that would have been given to the Prime Minister. I do think that is quite extraordinary. And also on his position on women more broadly, we know that we are told that halving violence against women and girls in a decade is a priority for the government, something that the Prime Minister feels very passionately about. But she pointed out, of course, the failure that there has been. There is a grooming gangs investigation now up and running. But she said, this is a man that didn't even know what a woman was. And on the Epstein victims, she basically said that they obviously hadn't cared what it looked like to them, hadn't thought about them when they were appointing Mandelson. Look, it's clear that despite her calls for Labour MPs to go to Tory whips and bring a vote of no confidence, she doesn't really want a general election now, I don't think, nor is that likely to happen. She did actually say we're stuck with Labour till 2029. But it's clear that I think, despite what happened with changing leaders with the Conservatives and the huge trouble that it got them into, she does seem to be encouraging Labour MPs to think about taking out the Prime Minister.
It does seem like it is increasingly likely that the Prime Minister will be taken out. I suppose, Catherine, just finally, looking at the timeline of when that might happen, I mean, if you were a scheming backbench Labour MP who wanted to defenestrate your leader, surely you'd wait until after either the by-election or the local elections to do so.
You would think so. I mean, I still feel that the most likely time would be after the May local elections, which are widely expected to be disastrous. But the fundamental problem that they have is, I mean, so many Labour MPs see their seats vanishing at the next election and want to get rid of Sir Keir Starmer. But the basic problem that they have is that they don't have any agreement of who to put in his place. We know that Wes Streeting had a very, very close relationship with Mandelson, who mentored him. His fiancée, I think, has been deleting information off his Facebook post. We know that Angela Rayner's still got that $40,000 in unpaid stamp duty. That is still hanging over her. And, well, Andy Burnham, he was blocked, wasn't he? So Andy Burnham is, for the meantime, out of the picture.